Have you ever met someone who was supremely confident yet remarkably incompetent? Or perhaps you felt like an imposter, riddled with self-doubt, despite being highly skilled? This puzzling phenomenon is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's a cognitive bias where people with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. It's a paradox of self-awareness. First identified by psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger in 1999, their research was inspired by the curious case of MacArthur Wheeler, a man who robbed 2 banks in broad daylight with his face covered in lemon juice. He believed that since lemon juice is used as invisible ink, it would make his face invisible to security cameras. He was of course wrong and was arrested shortly after. When shown the security footage, Wheeler stared in disbelief. "But I wore the juice," he mumbled. This profound lack of self-awareness sparked Dunning and Kruger's investigation. They conducted a series of experiments asking undergraduate students to rate their own ability in areas like humor, grammar, and logic. Then they tested their actual performance. The results were striking. Participants who scored in the bottom quartile consistently and dramatically overestimated their performance, believing they were well above average. For example, those in the 12th percentile on average rated themselves to be in the 62nd percentile. They were not only incompetent, they were also unaware of their incompetence. On the flip side, the study found that top performers, those in the top quartile, tended to underestimate their own competence. They knew they were good, but they assumed that if the tasks were easy for them, they must be easy for everyone else too. This is a different kind of cognitive blind spot, a form of false consensus effect. So what causes the Dunning-Kruger effect? The very skills required to be good at a task are often the same skills needed to recognize competence, both in oneself and in others. A person who is bad at grammar, for instance, lacks the grammatical knowledge to spot their own mistakes. Their incompetence robs them of the metacognitive ability to realize how poorly they are performing. It creates a bubble of illusory superiority. This isn't about ego or arrogance. It's a quiet, persistent blind spot. The incompetent person doesn't know what they don't know. They have an incomplete picture of the world and their place in it. This can lead to poor decisions, missed opportunities for growth, and a frustrating inability to learn from mistakes. How can we overcome the Dunning-Kruger effect? The path to self-awareness begins with humility and a commitment to lifelong learning. The first step is to question your own expertise. Seek out constructive feedback from others and be willing to listen, even when it's hard to hear. The more you learn about a subject, the more you begin to recognize the vastness of what you don't know. This is the beginning of true wisdom. As Socrates famously said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." By embracing this mindset, we can begin to pop the bubble of illusory superiority and see ourselves and our abilities with greater clarity.